Mic check. More than Masters podcast. I was made of course. I got a special guest across from me. Miss Kristal Mindingall. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Jermaine. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've been trying to, support arts. I do a lot of stuff with sports sometimes too. So sometimes the powers that be, aka people that do run arts in the hearts and stuff, they always tell me, hey, you gotta spread the love. You gotta do some stuff with the arts culture. And I've been doing it lately, and I'm definitely honored to have been doing it. I'm learning a lot of stuff the last 2 days as well. And I prepared to learn more things talking to you as well about arts and just singing and performing and things like that. So I want to start with you, just like, who is Kristal Mindingall?
Well, just a lover of music, a person that likes to provide just excellence in performances, and just somebody who is just an all-round, down-to-earth, just great person, just trying to share some love and provide an opportunity for people to come out and listen to some good entertainment.
Good. So I'm gonna get more into you in a second. I do want to say this a few times throughout the episode, though. So it's Kristal Mindingall. The group is called the Vibe Theory.
It's called Vibe Theory.
Vibe Theory.
Yes.
Vibe Theory. And y'all performing on Friday.
Yes, we are.
What
on the
time?
Soul Suite stage at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Okay,
Yes.
That's a good time, too. That's a perfect time, actually.
Yes.
Gee, that's okay. That's cool. Friday night.
Friday night, yeah.
I like that. Okay, well, I want to get more into you. We'll get into the group in a second. So to talk to me a little bit about yourself, like, where are you from? Are you from here originally? Are you from somewhere else?
Well, no. So I was raised in San Antonio, Texas. My dad was military, so that is where he put down roots for us as a family. And so I grew up there until about the age, I'm going to say around 30, 31, which is when in 2009 we moved here to Augusta, Georgia. And my husband is also in the military, and this is where we have roots down right now.
Okay. You a Spurs fan?
I was.
Okay, now who you? Wait, hold on. Now who you a fan of?
Don't have no basketball teams that I'm actively following in the NBA. But my husband is an alumni of the University of Alabama.
Okay.
So you marry well, you follow well. so roll tide. That's where we at right now. But we do like sports, and we just follow whoever's doing the best. We like to follow the black coaches a lot to support them. So yeah,
I like that. That's actually that's an amazing answer. I never heard anybody say that before.
Yes.
What coach is black? That's what I'm going.
Yes.
I hear that.
Yes.
But more into you. So you are a singer.
I am.
So what age did you start singing? Did you realize you can sing? I'm just from a non-singer. I'm not musically inclined at all. Okay, I just want to put it out there. So I'm interested in your story. Like, when did you start realizing, I can sing, and then how did that go on from there?
Well, if you let my mama tell it, my mama said that I started singing when I was 3. That I started singing a Natalie Cole song called Annie Mae. To this day, I have never heard that song. I probably need to low-key go and listen to the song. But when I really started realizing that I had a gift was in high school. And I grew up in the 90s. So you had Jade, and you had TLC, and you had SWV, all the 90 girls groups. So of course we had talent shows in school, and I'm like, let me see if I can do this. It was interesting, but yes, that's when I really started realizing that I had a gift, and I started using it. And girl groups, hallways, trying to sound like Shy because everybody was into the acapella. And so, that's when that kind of hit me.
I'm just curious. I like to ask a lot of detailed questions sometimes, so just forgive me.
Go ahead, do your thing.
I had to feel like I was there, right? So it's talent show. So before the talent show, you knew you could sing a little bit, I'm assuming. Maybe you play with it here. So what was it that said that I'm going, because the talent show is in front of the whole school. This is not 90s, mind you. So 90s, everybody in school participates in the school events. Nobody's going home on TikTok and Wi-Fi. It's not a thing at the time.
Not back then.
So if it's an event, you go into it because there's nothing else to do.
That's
right.
right.
I go home and do chores.
That's right.
So you're in front of your whole school, and so what gives you that courage to be like, I'm going to show them I can sing? Because you already knew you could sing.
Yeah. If I had to reach back to trying to figure out what happened, I think it was just the fact that when you grow up in neighborhoods where that's all we had to do, we were either dance battling or we were singing. And myself and a couple of my god sisters and some friends in the neighborhood, we used to always just sing in the hallway. It was the thing to do. And when the talent shows came up, back then, you can look this up, there was a young lady by the name of Pansy Johnson, and she had been on Star Search. She went to our school. And we were like, well, look, if she can do it, we can do it too. And so we said, well, let's get in this talent show. And it was a thing because it was like, nobody can beat Pansy.
Mm.
And I was like, well, I may not be able to out-sing her, but I can outperform her.
Mm.
And so that's how we got into the talent shows. And I actually beat her that year.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
clap it up for you, man. Pansy
Yeah.
who? You know what I'm
Pansy
saying?
Johnson. Look her up. She is known.
So, all right, I like to hear that. You said 3 years old, and it's a common theme. I asked another performer yesterday when they could sing also was 3 years old. Is it? I don't know if it's safe to say, but so at 3 years old, if 4 years old, 3 years old, if your parents not saying you can sing, you probably don't got it, maybe, or you think your voice can change.
It did. Everything evolves. My daddy was the singer in our family. So I know that's where it came from. But as I got older, you still have to evolve your gift. Now, when you're young, you don't know what that looks like. It's not until you become older that you start getting around different people that can cultivate you and mentor you and tell you how to work with your gift. But yeah, it just kind of came naturally. It was something that I found out that I really loved. And then just the love of music. Know all kinds of genres of music as a result of my father always. Back then, we had the tape. You took the record and then you put it onto the tape,
Yeah.
you know, and just listen to music all the time. So yeah, it just kind of evolved as things went on.
So I am curious. So at 3, 4, you start to get. Oh, you could sing. You could sing. Are you? Is church is a thing in the household? Y'all going to church? Or are you singing in a choir at all?
Growing up, no, we were what
Okay.
we call Kristals, Christmas and Easter. That's what we did. We
Wait,
went to
wait,
church.
Hold on. Wait, say that again. I never heard that before.
we were called Kristers, Christmas and Easter. That's when we went to church. So no, it was not something that I was doing. It was something I was doing in the privacy of my bedroom and at school when I got a chance. Now, when I got to middle school and a little bit into high school, we did get into concert choir and show choir and things of that nature. So yeah, you started learning the more technicalities of singing, you know, your notes,
Yeah.
you know, your harmonies, all of those types of things.
So I'm glad you said that. The harmonies part, not the creases part. That's funny though. That is funny. 'Cause I think I was that too. So we got something in common. I didn't know that, right?
Yes.
But you said so. Middle school, and high school, you started to kind of navigate out in your own, just being in choirs and kind of learn the logistics and the other parts of singing, right? The components that. And I was talking to everybody yesterday. I'm asking the same thing. You know, it's this thing singers do. Y'all, I'm gonna say y'all do. Where I don't know how it works, but like as y'all singing, y'all harmonizing, holding the tune, whatever. But it's like y'all can move your bottom jaw, and it I guess you go side to side. I don't know how to do it, but
I've never done the side to side jaw thing, so this
I've
is
been
new to
seeing
me.
like Wanya and them do it, and I guess it changes the tone of pitch of how you're singing.
Yes, it can, and how you position your tongue, and how
Yeah,
all of that. Yes.
So like how did you learn to do that? Because is this something you just based off singing, or you kind of go somewhere and they teach you?
It gets taught. For me, it was through choir. You know, you can resonate different sounds based off of how you're breathing, you know, whether you're using your chest voice, your head voice, your nose voice, all of these different things, how you're positioning your mouth, how you're positioning your tongue, how long you're taking a breath. It all entails. And even when I do some teaching of vocal coaching, but yes, it does make different things. Now, me, I always say that I'm not your traditional black singer. I don't know how to do all the runs and all the riffs and stuff, but I can sing, you know. But yes, it does come with teaching and control. And I do suggest that most of the time, if you want to be a good singer, you want to get into all the things that go with being a great vocalist and delivering well, then these are things that you learn through a vocal coach.
Well, I'm glad you said the singer part. I'm gonna get to the vocal coach part in a second, but I'm glad you said that because we've had a lot of us non-singers, right? We just fans of music and people. I got to keep saying that because I realize that
That's
as a
funny.
singer, as someone who sings and maybe even studies music in that realm, you guys look at that art in a different form. It's like sports. Somebody who plays sports might feel like LeBron James is better because of this reason.
That's right.
Because they playing, so they see it in a different perspective. So our non-singing perspective, right? We just go
Yes.
from what's in front of us most times anyway.
Yes.
And so we'll have these, careless debates of, who. Well, if you don't like Beyonce, of course, you're like, well, Jasmine Sullivan sings better, or Kiki Wyatt sings better, or whatever, right? But how does someone in your world like that knows music is a singer, performs, that puts in the work, that knows how hard it is to go and perform every night, cut records and things like that. How do you guys determine or speak on like the singing portion? Do y'all have those kind of debates of who's a better singer? What determines somebody to be a better singer than this person? Is it the whole, like you said, the whole, the average black woman singer who does the riffs or whatever, or is it who can hold the note the longest, who just sounds good on a record, who picks the right record to sound good on? Because those are all things that matter. How do y'all determine that when y'all thinking about who sings the best?
Well, I can't speak for anyone but myself. And, I've never looked at vocalists from that perspective or any performance from that perspective. What you do is what you do. How you do it is how you do it because it's your God-given talent. I don't categorize vocalists that way. I mean, Whitney Houston was Whitney Houston. She did it her way. Aretha Franklin is Aretha Franklin. Everybody has their own specialized gifts and talents. Nobody is better than anybody. We all have our own purposes, and God uses those plans and how he uses our gifts through us individually. I always like to go off of the, you remember the movie Drumline?
Yes.
Where he said, one band, one sound. Same thing in my perspective when it comes to vocalists. I'm no better than, let's say, Tara and the Snacks or Siobhan, or we all have our own individual gifts. And if we bring those together, it becomes one band, one sound.
Right.
It's one beautiful melody because it's individual gifts, nobody's better than anybody. Now, you may be able to do something a little better than I can, and that's good. That's great. I'm happy for you. And then we can all learn from each other, too. I'll be like, hey, Jermaine, how you do that? And you'll be like, okay, girl, it's just doing this little riff right here. Just practice this one step at a time. It's how we cultivate each other in our crafts, in our gifts, making sure that, hey, if you right here, I'm going to show you how to get to the next level. And if you can't do that, that's okay, too. Because you may not be comfortable doing all the runs.
Right.
You may not be comfortable singing the song straight. You may want to sing it just like the record. You may want to take the record and make it your own. All of that is a beauty and a magnificent gifting that God has given us to be able to be individual creatives in his will and in his power.
Oh, I don't clap it up for you because that was an amazing answer, first of all. I'm going to clap it up. I'm clap button not working? Okay, there we go. Got to clap it up for you. That was a great answer. So great. I just didn't want to say nothing. I didn't want to interrupt. Yeah. I'm using that clip. But for a couple reasons, though. One thing, like I said, I know we just met, and it is funny because you'll hear on some podcasts, people refer to me as Bobby, right? That's not my name. That's just
Did I call you your government name? I said Jermaine.
No, that's great. That's great because also when we spoke, you was like, hey, who's this? And my natural thing is Jermaine.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was cool. Yesterday and day before, I had Bobby, but that's not my name. So I thought that was cool. But just the answer I thought was cool too. And something you said within that as I was listening was also, like you said, a person may not be able to do all the runs, this, that, and the third. But also there's people judge what they like of music off what their ears, what's nice to their ears, or music to their ears. And you have some people who don't like all the extra runs. And so I hear it all the time, like, I'm a big Wanye fan. I love Wanye singing, right?
Yes,
but
amazing.
there's some people who feel like he runs too much. Like it's not needed, right?
Yeah.
And then you got some your simple singers, like even people that's not singers per se. Like maybe Drake not a singer, but he sings. He just melodic, nothing too fancy.
That's right.
But he make it sound good for him to where you like, he sings well.
That's right.
Because he's picking. So it's really, like you said, it's no real way to categorize that because, and then yesterday I was talking to Tara, you mentioned her name a second ago, and we both agreed, and I'm sure you will too, like singing is an instrument. Just like somebody play the drums, somebody play the piano, somebody is on something else. It's an instrument. Who's to say, well, this person plays the instrument better than that person? They both play. Right. They both sound great with this band. They both sound great with this sound. Right. You know, when all these sounds comes together, it's still an A+ performance. It's still great to my ears.
One band, one sound.
So I thought that was dope. I liked that. Yeah. That was real good. That was real good. You got a good voice for that. I don't know if you do podcasts or if you do any speaking.
No, I don't. This is actually my first time doing this. I do speaking. I'm able to do those things, but this is my very first podcast. You are helping me do something very well.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm hearing through the F. I'm like, this is great. This is good. Mind you, we never seen each other. You know, this is just pure. Yeah. We didn't come and have a 15-minute conversation.
No, we did not.
We got straight to it.
Yes.
All right. So I want to go back a little bit though, because you did mention the talent show. What song did you perform? I have to know these things. I'm sorry.
Oh man, back then, remember I told you I was like, I know I can't out sing Pansy, but I can sing and I can dance. So we did "Don't Walk Away" by Jade.
Okay.
And
right.
I had the dancers. We had the baggy pants, the cross-color jeans. Wow, cross-color jeans, and the crop tops and baseball caps. It was a vibe back then. But yeah, Don't Walk Away by Jade.
What like supportive wise, like from your family, like how did they support you just with singing and things like that? Like did they push you to do more of it when you started to like it, or realize you wanted to learn more about the mechanics of singing? What role did they play in that?
Talking about my
Yeah,
parents.
or just any supportive.
Man,
Just,
they didn't even know.
what?
And they didn't even know.
You hiding the gift?
They didn't even. My daddy was military. My daddy was a drill sergeant, and he was like, "Girl, you gonna be about them books? Ain't nobody got time for that," kind of thing. So it's funny that you asked me that, because I remember when my mom and my dad would go out on dates or whatever, then I would go and get the records. My favorite record to get was Anita Baker. Her very first album was "Sweet Love" on there, and I would play that, and I would sing every song on that album to help just build my vocal ability. I wanted to be able to learn how to sing low, and I wanted to be able to learn how to sing high. So I would do this when nobody was there. And then, of course, then when they come back home, I was just sitting there chilling, The talent shows, I snuck to be in talent shows. I don't even know if my mama know that.
Oh yeah, she gonna know now.
She gonna know now, though. But I used to sneak to be in talent shows, and we would take our lunch hours and rehearse.
Wow.
And then because the talent shows were during the day, so they didn't have to worry about staying after school or any of those things. So yeah, they never knew. I don't think my mom or my dad actually figured out that I could actually sing until I was well grown and on my own.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I say it's a few things I want to say. You how you just spoke about that whole situation. It's kind of layered too. One thing I want to first touch on is I gotta mention this. Anita Baker is my favorite of all time. It's when if I ever get upset, like when I do, I just play music from Anita Baker. I'll be fine.
Anita Baker's calm.
I drive. I listen at work. I throw Anita Baker on. I don't care what I'm doing, but let me put. I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like live performances too. Just listen to her. I like that feel. All her music felt like it was everybody in the studio at one time.
That's right.
Not just I'm gonna email you the beat and you sing. It was like
No, they was all in there.
I like that.
Yes.
I love Anita Baker. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
Just everything about her. But so that was one thing. But another thing you said, I think it's important to talk about or just to understand different times and cultures as well. We know so much more now about just future things, like maybe the next 10 years. I feel like in the 90s, we just knew what they told us. Like, you go to school, you do this, go to college, this is the job you get, this is the field that's paying. We had these like little sayings, just go in the medical field, you always have a job.
That's
just
right.
go. And we had these little seances where we would say things and that's just what we went off of.
That's
As
right.
opposed to now, I think some kids now, they kind of got it better, depends how you look at it, but just more in a creative sense. Kids or just people in general are able to create in a more safer space.
That's right.
Not that you was unsafe, but like even like sneak into a talent show. Not that people won't do that today, of course, but like I said, you watch these movies, Sparkle and stuff back then.
That's right.
There wasn't no singing 5 heartbeats. His dad was like, "Hey, look, you can't praise two. You can't sing and do this. You can't sing here and sing. You pick one." It was so many ultimatums and issues and family issues that they're created based off art of you loving art. So I think even hearing you say that, it was almost like you was just. I guess to me, it seemed like you were aware.
I was very aware.
I like doing this, but it might not sit well with this. I'm just going to do my spare time, and we'll go from there, just to kind of diffuse any issues.
That's right.
I like that, though.
That's right.
I think it's important for people to know that, just so they don't think, well, this person was just mean, this person was mean. That was just the times.
Yes.
There wasn't no such thing as, I'm rapping today. No, you're not. Today you can do that.
Yes. And I want to speak on something you just said about, back then, them saying that we couldn't praise and we couldn't do secular music. Because I'm a worship pastor.
Okay.
Currently.
Okay.
That is my number one thing. Above anything else. That is my calling. That is what I put my most energy into. And for a long time, that very same statement had me very confused. And I will say that it had me confused because there was a time where I wasn't walking with the Lord, okay? I knew him, I accepted him, but I wasn't walking with him. And I was out in the world with the bands, and I wasn't doing the right things. Not for myself, not for my family. That's how the enemy kind of gets you pulled into the world. It can get really sketchy. And so I believe that when some of our elders told us that we couldn't do both things, it's because we didn't have the discipline or the know-how to be able to be out in the world and not compromise our walk.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because you can still do it. It's your gift. You know, God knows what you're doing. You don't think he don't know? It's how you execute your gift and what you're doing and the picture that you're painting while you're executing the gift. So as a worship pastor who has a live secular band, one of the things that I'm very, 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 very particular about is what we're presenting. And so with this band, even my husband would tell you, it is very imperative to us that who you see when I worship is who you see out there when we're having a good time in a family-oriented concert. That is what I like to provide. That's not to say that what everyone else is doing is not correct, to each his own. But as for me, you know, I try to make sure that who you see when you come to see me worship on Sunday is the same person that you're going to see out there while we're performing.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
you can do both. You just have to be very intentional about how you do it.
I like that explanation first off, and I definitely think that's important to. You can do both. Just be who you are. Just
That's right.
be the same person each one. So I like that as well. So all right, 31 years in San Antonio, right? San Antonio. As you got older, you said you got older. Your parents, they know you sung until you got older. So what was it that you started to do for them to start to see or realize that you were a singer, that you did sing?
So I'm gonna say I was about 20 years old. And I used to love singing karaoke, love doing it. And I was singing karaoke one night, and there was a gentleman in there. He actually became my oldest son's goddad. And he was like, you don't need to just be singing karaoke. Like, you need to be doing this for real, like professionally.
Yeah.
And so long story short, he hooked me up with a live band in San Antonio. And I did not know what I was doing. I had no clue. But the group that he got me with, they were willing to train me, say, this is what it looks like to command the front. I already seen what it was, because remember, I had been studying, you know, in my own private room, what people did. And I was able to do pretty well at it the first year that I was in it. I did that for about 5 years. And then I met the famous Mr. Mel Waiters.
Wow, okay.
We're all from San Antonio, and I got an opportunity to be a background singer for him. And it was amazing. And that's when I said, you know what? I want my own. I want to do my own. And so the same guy that discovered me in the karaoke joint is the same guy to say, hey, I'm going to put a band behind you. Let's do it. Back then, the band was called Kristal and Silver and the Secret Code Band. And it was amazing. It was just amazing. And that's when I knew I had something. And then my mama came to one of my concerts. And she was like, when did you start doing this? I'm like, I've been doing it. I love it, you know. But that's kind of how that happened. My dad found out about it. And it was just kind of history after that. I mean, from 21 until I left, that's what I did.
So I like that. That's a great story, first of all. But I do want to jump back just a second. You said when you first started, they kind of showed you like this is how you demand the stage. So talk about that a little bit. Like, what was that first performance like? 'Cause obviously it's different karaoke. So I imagine you were that karaoke person that could really sing, and nobody else really can. So it's like you singing this, but you singing for real, right?
I'm singing for real, yeah.
And but then when you go in and you perform with a live band, you got the talent, of course, but you're not the experience of performing at that magnitude.
Boy, but I learned quick. Oh, man. So my first gig, mind you, I was with people of the world, so the guys behind me weren't very nice, okay? But I had to sing Stormy Monday. I will never forget this. And I could sing, but I couldn't sing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I couldn't make people feel what I was singing. And I got through the first verse, and the keyboard player, he was like, wait, break it down. Girl, come stand over here. And he called this lady out of the crowd. Her name was Loretta Blue.
Oh, she can
beautiful,
sing. She can sing.
Beautiful. You tell by her name because she's
Loretta.
saying
That's it.
Loretta Blue. There it is.
That's
there
it.
it is. And said, come up here and show this little girl how it's really done. Miss Blue came up on the stage. When I tell you she shut it down, all the way down, left no crumbs to eat. Had me standing over there like I'm clearly not cut out for this. But it didn't stop me. What it taught me was, if you're going to be there on that platform, you better own it. And don't allow anybody to take you off of it. You work with people, but never allow somebody to work against you. And ever since that day, I have never backed down. But still keeping in mind that I'm working with you. We're a team. We're one team, one fight. But never, ever has anybody ever made me feel like that again. And I began to sing.
I like, what I like about that story is like it's twofold, because in one instance it's like, why would you do that? Why would the guy do that, right? But in the same instance, like, sometimes things got to happen so other things can happen.
So you can be a push.
Whatever lesson you got from that, I feel like it was worth it.
It was worth it. It was worth it because it grew me into the artist that I am today. It grew me into the performer that I am today. That you don't just give a half, you give a whole. You give the full picture. You give all that you have. You give excellence. And that also ties back into your gifting. In scripture, it says that you do everything as if you're doing it unto God. So are you going to give God a half? Or are you going to give him all that you have? You're going to leave it right there on the stage. Beyonce does it all the time. There's so many people I can name. Aretha Franklin used to do it all the time. Shaka Khan did it all the time. Jasmine Sullivan, they do it all the time. They give it all that they have. They don't give you a half. They give you a whole. Because anything less than that, you're basically stealing from people.
No, I agree. I definitely
You're stealing
agree.
from people. They're paying their hard money for you to provide them with entertainment. And so that should always be your best. Always leave it on the stage. All of your heart, all of your spirit, all of your mind, everything that you have, leave it right there. And that's what Loretta Blue did. She said, let me show you what it looks like. Because if you're going to come up here and command it, then take it. Or somebody going to take it from you.
Did y'all have any conversation afterwards?
No, I did not. I did not. I was scared of that lady because I was young. She had to be about 40-something, and I was just 22.
And I think that's also something in any field, but I always connect sports with arts, and I think it's all the same because different entities and different same issues happen, same underlying lessons is learned just through different ways of doing it. But I look at someone who just had the experience.
That's right.
And talent is talent, but it's possible you could have been a talented, younger, better looking, whatever the case may be for anybody, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes that's also a thing too. It's like, you know how people are, they're like, oh, this young pretty thing gonna be up here, I'm gonna show her.
Yes.
It's a lot of that
It
stuff.
was that. It was that. And you have to understand that when I stepped on the scene, Loretta Blue was very well known. Her and about 3 other older vocalists were very well known. So you do have this young girl that's coming, that's fresh and new and pretty and vivacious, can dance, can all these things. So you do get a little intimidated. But one thing I want to circle back to that is that I didn't speak to her that night.
Got you.
But there was probably about a year later that she and I actually got to perform together. And we did have a conversation. But she had seen the growth in me by that time.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm proud of you. You didn't back down. You took that and you didn't allow it to intimidate you back into a hole.
Yeah.
You took that and allowed it to grow you into the performer and the vocalist that you are today. So it was great. She was a very beautiful lady. She's still singing to this day, and just fabulous. It was just in a moment that I'll never forget, but it taught me something.
I always like to hear like the full circle moments of when you feel like why it happened, like
Yes.
the why. In real time, you might not know. You just you questioning things. Should I be doing this, that, and third? And you could keep pushing it, and later on
That's
you
right.
find that why.
Yes.
But I also feel like I understand how new can be for somebody who's been around. Once you've been
Yes.
around, you're not new no more. So
Nope.
I know what to expect from this person. So even him saying, "Hey, stop! You get off. You come on." They know what to expect at this point, right?
That's
but
right.
It's more so like let's just also show her. Just the way I guess it happened. I might wouldn't want to do that way, but lesson to lesson.
Yes.
And the music business is tough anyway, so it's like you're gonna learn here before you learn out there.
That's right.
So
That's
learn
right.
at home first before you go somewhere and they make you feel real bad. At
Yeah.
least here, we love you.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right.
So I like that. I think that's a great story. You should tell that story more often. If you don't, I
Yes.
don't know if you do, but you should
Yes.
tell that story more.
Yes.
I always write my notes down and I say use. And I feel like from 22 to like 31, I've just been saying use. And I don't do that often. So that was real good. So you start to perform with the band that your child's godfather got for you, and you start to do well. You start to kind of, I guess, you're learning, you're getting better at performing. You know, you're becoming your own, right? So what is that like when you make the move from San Antonio to, I'm assuming, Augusta, Georgia?
Oh, it was a culture shock. Big time. My husband will tell you that first year, boy, it was a little rough.
What part exactly when you say rough? Is it
just from the big city to more country living, in my perspective.
Okay.
I didn't know where Augusta was.
Never heard of it before?
Huh?
Until you came here?
Say again?
You had never heard of it until you came here?
No, I'd never been out of San Antonio.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You know, I've never been to San Antonio. I just know because the Spurs, of course, and it's Texas, of course, right? So is that a big city? Like,
yes. You could put 4 Augustas in San Antonio.
So in Texas, you got San Antonio, you got Houston, and you got Dallas.
Austin, and you got Dallas.
Oh, I forgot about Austin. Okay.
Texas is huge. It's what, the second largest state? So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you never had to leave really because Texas is a big state. So you come to Augusta, culture shock. Was it culture shock because the small city? Was it culture shock trying to figure out, where you're going to perform, if you're going to perform, trying to get into the in crowd?
Well, I'm going to say this. When I came to Augusta, I believe I already had a band when I came to Augusta. Didn't I? I think I already had a band already. I started singing with Linwood Holmes, Sounds Unlimited. And I'm trying to remember how that came about, but I did meet Linwood here down at Cafe 209, and I don't even know how he found out that I was a vocalist, but I had not moved here yet. I was down here visiting. We were trying to get settled, and someone introduced me to him, and he was like, hey, when you come back, I want you to come and audition with me. And I did. And I became his vocalist for Sounds Unlimited when I first got here. So I already had a band when I got here.
Oh, okay.
That was pretty dope, the timing and how that lined up. And so I sang with him for a good 2-3 years. So I was already in here. So the culture shock was small city, don't know anybody, not quite sure if what I'm bringing to the table is going to line up with what everybody's currently doing.
Gotcha.
I had already been opening up for a lot of major artists as a result of being, with Mel and then doing my own thing. It was different. It was a lot harder because my drive was a little bit different.
Yeah.
And so, with anything, you got to be flexible enough to meet people where they are and not expect them to come to where you're at. And so that's what I mean by culture shock.
That makes sense.
So yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. So I do want to just do a background. I am not from Augusta, so I also moved here just out of nowhere, and to an extent. I was way younger when I first heard of it because I just didn't know. And then I moved when I was 16. But I'm originally from Brooklyn, so also another fast city. So it's just culture. I understand when you say culture shock, as far as like how things operate, and then the drive.
Yes.
I also realized a lot of times people. Where I'm from and my culture there is like you go get it. You're gonna go get it. You work hard. It's not really handed to you.
That's right.
Also, I found from being here, smaller cities sometimes, everybody know everybody for the most part. So sometimes things are kind of just put in your lap to an extent sometimes. So
that's right. If
that's been what you've always known, it's hard to be around a go getter. It's hard to be around somebody who's gonna go get it because. You're like, wow, why go get it? They're going to put it in my lap anyway. They know I've been here 20 years.
That's
I'm good.
Right.
So
that's right.
It's different.
That's right.
I noticed that just in me even doing podcasts. Like, I'm not from here, but I do a lot of the illustration of what Augusta means. And it's somebody who's not even from here.
That's right. And let's talk about the fact that when you're not from here and it's such a small community, it may be big in some other people's eyes, but it's such a small knit community that everybody knows everybody. You know what I'm saying? All of the people that are musicians around here know everybody or are related. Let's talk about that. They're related some kind of way, first, second, third cousin, whatever. So when you're trying to get yourself out here, it poses to be a little bit more difficult. For the person who is the outsider coming in to the close-knit family. And so when you're trying to market yourself and brand yourself, people are not more willing to give you that opportunity because they're used to what they're used to.
Right.
They're used to who they're used to. So it's almost a proving factor to get somebody to say, you know what, let's give Jermaine an opportunity. Yeah, we know he's from Brooklyn, but this our city, this our town, kind of thing. Or let's give Kristal an opportunity. I have seen her. You got to see her, to get to know her. And so you almost got to be at the bottom of the barrel and then prove yourself, to get even to the middle. And then maybe you might make it to the top where people are saying, you know what, this person is worth it. This person is really good. They got business savvy. They're business professional. They're great at what they do. I mean, we can relate. Yeah. It's very hard.
And I think
coming in here culturally.
In addition to what you're saying, like one thing I would say, this for myself, I always feel like I'm just gonna take whatever it is. So I'm not like still, of course, but if I feel like it's an opportunity, I'm going to get in front of it. That's just always been me.
That's right.
So if that means that somebody else felt like I'm gonna sit back and it's gonna fall in my lap, they're gonna be upset with me because I might have came and just snatched it, right? But also in the same breath, it's hard to navigate who's who. So whereas in a bigger city, you might know, they might say, go to Red, this place. Red means something.
That's right.
Here, you got to kind of figure that. Even that information is hard to get for somebody sometimes. Like they won't even tell you who to go to get what you need to get. You got to kind of hope that you run into the right person that actually matters and means something.
That's right. That's right.
And it's Georgia. So Georgia as a whole, not just Augusta, but Georgia from Atlanta to wherever, Athens, whatever. Say what you want about Southern and South stuff, but Georgia is a slick talking place as well, too. So I might see something in you.
Yes.
And I'm like, nah, my cousin, the guy you need to go to. My cousin not the guy you need to go to. All right? He's not the guy you need to go to. But I'm going to say that because you're somebody, I see something in you.
Yes.
So I know what you can do for my cousin versus what my cousin can
you do for
you.
me. That's right.
So even that's hard to come from another place and
that's right.
be somewhere and you just hope. So even like, I would say this, like me seeing, knowing that you're on Dorian's stage, me knowing the eye Dorian has for his stage and how his stages have been, Karen Gordon, how her stages have been, I'm already knowing those are two stages I'm hitting anyway, just because I know they pick certain kind of acts and what they're looking for. But it can easily have been somebody else somewhere else, and you be like, I'm doing this, and it's like, that's not what you should have did. You don't know that until you trial and fail.
That's right.
So getting to a little bit that, so you had a band coming here. When do you venture off, and when does Vibe Theory become yours?
Oh wow! So I did the band with Linwood for a while, and then I took a step back.
Okay. And
that's when I started dealing more into my worship ministry. Just focusing on what God had for me there, and just trying to regroup my mind and whatever the purposes and plans that he had for me. And so I stepped back for a little while. I did do some work with another band that was not in Augusta, that was through East Coast Entertainment, and did some things with that band behind the scenes, once in a while, 3 or 4 times a year kind of thing, just to keep myself up, keep my chops up, keep my performance up.
Stay conditioned.
Yeah, stay conditioned. But the worship thing was my primary goal. And so 2 years ago, let me see. So I did Dorian last year, and then I did Karen Gordon 2 years at the jazz stage. So I'm going to say 3 years ago now, God kind of spoke to me and said, hey, I'm ready to launch you again, but I'm going to launch you in a different way, with a different purpose and plan behind that. Now, mind you, Karen knew me from singing with Linwood, and she and I did a couple things together since I've been here in Augusta. So she knew who I was. She knew my gifting, my talents. And I said, hey, Karen, what do you think about me doing a 30-minute segment on jazz stage? And she said, sure, that would be dope. Let's do it. I had no name. It was just me, another young lady, and I put a band together. And I wanted to see if the vision God gave me for a band was going to be received well, because remember I told you, nobody knew me here.
Yeah.
So it was very hard, and I didn't know if I could pull Karen's stage. I didn't know. I just knew go out there and leave it all there. And so we did. We did the first year, we did 30 minutes, and we filled the tent. And I said... Was
this 2022?
Yes.
Yes,
wow, when we were in the white outfits.
Yes, okay,
yes.
Okay.
And it was just amazing. I was shocked myself that we could even do what we did. And it gave me hope. And I said, well, God, if this is what you really want me to do, then the next year, you'll not only fill the tent, but you'll give us other outlets. You'll allow people to come and see us that not only want to see, me on this platform, but also come see me in church and so on and so forth. And he did that. He filled the tent and he brought the people to me. So I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of dope, you know? But that year was a year that someone was like, well, what's your name? And I was like, I don't know. My name is Kristal Mindingall. They're like, what's the band? I'm like, Vibe Theory. Vibe Theory. Kristal Mindingall and Vibe Theory. Behind the stage, before we came up there, and the announcer was like, what's your name? I was like, I don't have one. And we just made that up. But I think that it was God's provision for us, because it was a vibe for us. We wanted to create an atmosphere that anyone of all nationalities, walks of life could just vibe with us.
Right.
And so that's how it came about.
That's amazing. And I think naming is super important because a lot of times that's what's going to make you stand out before the music, before the performances, or vibe theory. And then it becomes a thing,
Yes.
So I thought that was, I like that story as well. Amongst your band, is it the same individuals a part of the band each time? You swap out? I know bands work a little different because everybody can always make it. So you might have two drummers, you might have two whatever.
I have the same team all the time. I've been blessed enough to have that. When I started with Karen, I was kind of using different musicians here and there because remember, I was trying to see if this is what I was supposed to be doing. Right. And then God sent me an amazing team. Of course, he's number one on my team. And then I have Derek Jones. I have Woody Dixon. Derek Jones is guitar. Woody Dixon is bass. I have Rudy Washington, who is my MD as well as my drummer. I have Calvin Sanders, who is my auxiliary keys. I have Rich Richardson, who is also my main keys. And then I have two amazing background vocalists, Charmaine Powell and Shayla Walden. And occasionally my baby daughter, who did kind of like with me, that's Tavanna Mindingall. She fills in when I need someone. But I have been blessed enough to be able to sustain them. They hold me down. We are really a family. They are my brothers. And we love them very much. They have been such a saving grace for me.
I got some questions about some things you just said. I meant to ask it earlier. I wrote it down, but we skipped past it because you had some amazing stories, so I couldn't get to everything. Yes. But background singing, how important is that? And then because you did it too, I don't want to say a good background singer. How important is that, and what is the background singer's job?
So I don't like to call my background singers. They are vocalists.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah. That's number one. It's important for everyone to understand that they are artists in their own right.
Right.
It is important for me because I'm not only singing, I'm actually performing and dancing. So when you got a strong partnership with your vocalists that are there on the stage with you, it frees me up to be able to provide 150% of all of my performance. Especially if it's hot, like it was Candlelight, and I couldn't breathe. I need them to be able to pick up where I can't, Right. So it's still a cohesive unit. One doesn't work without the other. You understand? If I want to take a moment to go off of the platform, say I want to change my clothes or something, or say I need to go down to get water, I can look at either one of them, and they could come and do the same commanding of the front that I would be doing if I were still there.
Right.
So it's very important to have a strong team in your vocalists. They're not just background vocalists, they can also be a leader.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's how important it is to me. And I have those, and these two young ladies, or I should say these women, they're grown women. They sing with a lot of people around the city. I'm grateful to have them, so blessed to have them a part of my team. I couldn't do it without them.
You explained that very well as well, and I think that's the first time I was able to ask that question because, like I said, you blow past stuff sometimes, and not everybody got the background vocalist. So that kind of even tells me the type of performance you guys are doing to even have that, But how you spoke about it though as well, because I was talking to Tara yesterday, and I mentioned her. I said, well, coming up, you did all this singing. Was there ever a thought like, well, if I don't necessarily be this top-notch R&B singer, if I don't be this big, widely known musician, singer, or whatever, what other jobs can you do? And I had a cousin who could sing, and I always felt a way that with their talent, they didn't like write or they didn't like go harmonize and become a vocal coach with somebody or background vocalist. I always
That's
thought
right.
it's so many other things you can do besides being this lead, whatever, right? And still be a part of a amazing sound.
That's right.
That's why I think about band. I think about how much you have to be humble also,
That's right.
but be a team player versus
That's right.
individualism. You know.
That's right.
And so,
That's
like,
right.
like listening to you explain it, like I felt that way about the band. It makes me want to even watch y'all perform.
Yes.
Because now I'm gonna look at so many different things. I'm looking at the drummers. I know the people that play the instruments, actual instruments, I know they're gonna do their job, but I'm also gonna be, they get their ISOs here and there. You get to feel out what they're doing. But it makes me want to give more attention to the vocalists as well, because now I'm seeing like how they're responding to what you do. And then when you
That's
step
right.
off to perform and you talk to the crowd, what they're doing now. To even look at it that way versus just being on that one target that's moving around the stage the whole time. You can look at different components of the stage.
That's right. That's right. It's important because at the end of the day, I think my bass player put something on social media last night that said, young musicians, young artists, if you do not have an active voice in the group that you're in, then you're just a hired hand. And I thought that was so powerful because if I didn't have my team with me, then where would I be? The whole platform is for everybody. Everybody is their own individual artist. You understand what I'm saying? Like, everybody has their own gifts. Everybody has the ability to grow whichever way they see fit. But they can't do that if you're just making it about you. We were talking about how I love the movie The Temptations when who was it? What is his name? Not Eddie Kendricks. David Ruffin was like, didn't nobody come to see you, Otis, because he was so one-sided. He was only about him. It was about him and only him all the time. But it was a group.
Group effort.
Everybody had their own individual gifts.
Yep.
And so with Kristal, Mindingall, and Vibe Theory, that's what I want. This is a group effort. This is a platform for everyone to shine and grow, not just Kristal, Mindingall. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Like, it's important that everyone knows, that that the crowd knows that, hey, they could probably sing me off the stage. You understand? Like, they have their own giftings and talents, and it's very important for them to be celebrated as well.
I agree.
Provided the opportunity to shine. Yes, I'm the leader. Yes, I'm the main person in the front, but they too can step in at any time. And I try to provide that as well. We're working on that. We're so new. We're still learning each other, but I still see their gifts.
Right.
And those gifts are to be seen as well.
I think something I didn't speak about so far in talking about any of the acts and arts and hearts is that, even with the leadership and being a leader, there's a lot come with that as well. And what comes with that also is also being able to learn from people you're leading as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think even seeing that speaks to your leadership as well.
Yes,
highlight even how you spoke about the band members. You didn't skip a beat. He played this. He played this. She played this. Just the name, just knowing that. I think that's important as well because it speaks to how it's not about you. It's a group effort. It's a team effort.
It is.
So I like that, and I also feel like you said, and you mentioned the lady Miss Loretta. And you said y'all sung on the stage, and I think of stuff like that. Like even in sports, like people play against each other all the time, and you have a game against this person, or you compare against this person, but then they play together on a team, get traded, whatever, or they play together in an all-star game. You finally get to see how things mesh when two players that do the same thing play with each other. And I like to hear them kind of stories as well. So I thought that was very entertaining to hear. When you were on stage though, like describe that feeling. You could talk about Candlelight if you want to, but describe the feeling of being on stage.
I love it. I don't think I so much love it more for me than I do for y'all. To be able to see people enjoying themselves and responding to something that they love to hear, their favorite song, or being entertained in a way that they can just feel like they can sit back and just vibe and don't even have to get up because they're in concert mode. It gives me just an amazing feeling of having the ability to honor people that way.
Right.
To not just say, oh, this is mine and I'm doing this for me and this is all me, pumping myself up. No, I'm allowed to do something that's been given to me that can be taken away at any moment for people who just want to be able to be entertained, have a good time, spending their good hard money, and actually enjoying what it is that they're seeing. If you're not enjoying what I'm doing, then I don't need to be doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Save your money. Save your money. So when I'm able to hit the platform, it's just very humbling for me because I get to do it. You know?
What is it like watching? Like how does someone like you who's got the experience, been doing this for a while now, when you're a spectator, what are you looking for as a spectator? Like when you watching the band or you just enjoying, you know?
Let me tell you something, and most musicians and vocalists will tell you, it's so hard to sit outside and watch another band, and you're like, man, wait a minute, they missed that note. You know, well, hold on now. Because you can, as a musician, you know, as a vocalist, you hear things that the common person who's not in music hear. But I love it. I crave it. Sometimes I know I get on my husband's nerves. He's like, can we just sit here and chill? Can you not pick that apart? Can we just enjoy this? But it is hard because it's inside of you. When you love it, it's inside of you. But as a spectator, I pick up notes too. I pick up notes. I'm like, oh, you know what? Okay, we do the same song. We could do this a little better. We could do this a little differently. You pick up notes, you apply the notes. You learn something from the other bands and the other vocalists that you're watching. It's not about comparison contrast for me. It's about what can I do differently to make what I'm doing better? What can I offer them if they're willing to be receptive of like, hey, yo, did you know that the bass line was like this? You know, or you could add this in there or whatever. I think that we should be learning from each other.
Right,
taking things that could collectively make us better. Because remember, we're providing a product. It's being paid for.
Yeah.
So that's what I do as a spectator. And then I enjoy it. I just love listening to music. I love singing music. I just love being a part of it. So.
And I think a lot of times, like I said, I compare sports to a lot of times. I think it's the same. I think you got the good athletes or good people that, you know, team players that want to win and want to grow and get better. Just like with musicians, I feel like when a player has a game and they notice a pair of theirs was in the stands, they want to know like, what you thought of the game, like, what I did.
That's right.
They want to know. They want to know
Yes.
from some practice, somebody that's a peer. And so I think that's amazing that if in y'all you guys' world that y'all can give that, you know, that feedback as well. Like, hey, what you thought about? I thought the bass was low. Yeah, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to tell you know. But
Yes.
and y'all can have that conversation.
Yes.
She should or he should. I think that's good because you want to, you know, iron sharpens iron. You know, you want to get better, and especially I think when you see people might want to agree with it. But if you see your peers in the stands, you kind of you want to feel like you did how I did great. Thank you. You know, I want to know I did well.
That's right.
From a peer because I respect you. I like I like what you do. I want the same. I want that same respect. I want that same,
right.
you know, like from you. So I think that's amazing to do.
That's right. Yeah, you gotta say that for the people in the back because that's really what it is. That's what we should be doing with one another. I know when we did Candlelight, that was kind of like our second time really being in a big venue like that. And some of my musician peers did call me after and was like, yo, that was so dope. And what I love is this particular musician that came to me, he videotaped each song and he sent them to me. And then he posted them. So now I get to go back and see how I could have done that better, what we could have done better. And he was like, yo, you know the bass line, he happened to be a bass player. He's like, you know the bass line on this, I see you changed the key. So maybe you can let your bass player know that if he does this, whatever, it'll be easy for him to pick up into it because it does make it hard as a bass player when you change the key even a half a step. I wouldn't have known that. I don't play bass, you know? So, and it was on a song that my bass player was telling me, oh, I hate playing it in this key.
Now realizing it's probably a cheat code to
it. It
great.
is. And so I had to go back to him and say, you know what? I understand why you don't like it now. Because I got to hear one of my bass player friends say, hey, it's a little more difficult to do that. You know, oh, in order to do that, when you change it half a step, you almost need a 7-string versus a 5-string. You know, those are things that we need to hear and need to be receptive of and, you know, take it in.
That's the thing as well. Like it's a band. So in certain songs, certain tempos are gonna be more difficult for certain instruments. Even even with your voice being an instrument. So this tempo, I might need to sing it this way because I'm moving too much. I can't. There's a lot of different aspects that may make it more. That may make it difficult.
That's right.
For you to play your instrument at your best.
That's right.
As opposed to certain tempos, like I like it here. I like this setting. I can kill this setting here. But then maybe the the piano person like, well, I don't know, I can't keep up with this. So it's a
That's
lot that
right.
go on with
Yes,
that.
yes.
And you gotta have one sound. So I think
Yes.
communication is key on that as well. Real quick, I guess again, Kyle, I know I'm about to wrap it up, but like y'all performing on Friday,
Yes.
8
So we're
p.m.
8 p.m. Soul Sweet Stage Friday.
8
Yes.
p.m. Soul Street Stage Friday, and then you did Karen's in 2022. I'm assuming years
And
ago.
2023.
Okay, and then
Yes.
you did Dorian's last year as well,
Yes, I did.
and you was called again for another.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
that just tells me you're doing a great job. So clap it up to you. Y'all
Yay,
got called back.
yay. Got the call
Everybody
back.
get called back sometimes, and then
Yes.
also people have other things going on. So not to discredit anybody. I don't want to ever do that. I know art is emotional. I just want to ask a few questions just about the performance. What kind of records do you guys perform artist wise? Like I know
We try to do a little bit of everything, depending on the venue. Because like if we perform in North Augusta, we add in a little bit more of your Caucasian music, to try to appeal
Makes
to
sense.
everybody. We try to stay in the top 100.
Okay, I got you.
To appeal. And then of course, depending on what the venue is, with the Soul Sweet Stage, soul, so we're going to do a lot more soul. We would probably not add any of the Caucasian music in there for that. So yeah, we try to keep it a little old school, keep it a little new school, a little bit for everybody.
Just if you don't, if I'm like, what's a go to you that you or your band just feel like no matter where you at, this is always going to be a go. Is it a particular song?
Right now, I'm very particular about learning what you have. I might have 2 or 3 different sets,
Gotcha.
that I may change my intro song. I may change my secondary. If I have a second set, I may change those up per show. But we try to keep the middle and the core about the same because the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Right.
And it becomes like, just the back of your hand. I wouldn't say we have any particular go-tos, but like we have encore, in our thing. That's gonna always be in
I love
there.
that song.
We got encore in there. We try to keep some Bruno Mars in there. We try to keep some Silk Sonic in there.
Okay.
And then we try to keep anything old school, your Lakeside, your Cameo. We try to keep all those things in there. So yeah, I wouldn't say we have any particular go-tos, but we try to keep our middle the same and we try to keep our intros and our exits different because we don't want you to become like, oh, we know they song, we know they show, back to back. We want you always keep you on your toes guessing about it. So
I like your answer because I only asked that question because yesterday I did a group and New Age Sounds, younger group, younger musicians, and they mentioned a song, and I didn't, it's not in their generations per se, but it was like, what, we kind of do, we'll do Soul for Real, and people just always turn up to that. Oh, we'll Erica Badu, Call Tyrone. I didn't realize how much that song does get performed. Even at karaoke, whatever, like
That's
it just
right.
gets performed a lot. And I was like, I didn't think about that. And then hearing you say some things y'all do is like, I honestly haven't heard that a lot. So I do know that from hearing you talk, that you guys' performance is just probably gonna be a little bit different than what they normally expect because
that's right.
y'all got a different sound. I like that, but it's the people you name our band kind of sounds.
Yes,
as well.
because in my particular, we're a show band.
Right.
So anything that I'm gonna do it's not gonna be radio edit. It's gonna be the live version of it every time, all the time, because I want you to be sitting out in the crowd and feeling like that artist is right there. That you are in that concert right there and then. And so I also try to provide things that other people are not doing per se. You might hit onesies and twosies that everybody might be doing, but the majority of my picks are going to be songs that people are not doing.
I like that.
Or I'm going to change them up in a way that you're going to be like, dang, I might need to take that, because I want it to be different. I don't want it to be boring. I don't want it to be, something that you're going to be like, oh, I already know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I want you always guessing.
You mentioned something coming up. I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, coming up, I didn't always like it because I didn't understand it. Once again, I'm not musically inclined at all. I just like it to hear it. And when I think about live now, I realize that you might sing Anita Baker, "Give Me the Best That I Got." You might sing that, but it's not gonna sound like the original version. Anita Baker, "Give Me the Best That I Got." Younger me kid is like. Why are they singing? She don't say that. Why are they? But as a lot, you have to make it your own.
That's right. You have to make it your own.
So talk about some of the differences of like a live song versus the song you might hear on someone's album?
So most of the things that we're doing when we're talking about versus radio edit or record edit versus live, if you study any groups, I don't care who they are, even Beyonce, you'll listen to her album, but if you go watch her concert, oh, there's going to be other things that are added in there to give it more spark, give it more interest, you know, that she is going to draw you in with. Because if I want to listen to the record, I'll listen to the record or let the DJ play it. You understand what I'm saying? But you want to provide something that's going to give somebody a little bit more additional, you know, interest in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because it can become boring. You know, if you're paying to see a live band, then I want a live sound.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, so that's kind of where I go with that and why I stick very hard to it. Because again, if you're not giving them 150,000%, then you're stealing their money. You know, so yeah.
No, I like that, man. This was a dope conversation, and I am curious to see. I'm gonna be there this weekend, so I'm curious to see how everything's gonna formulate. My goal this year was to try to to interview people that gonna be performing. I want to get the arts out. I feel like somebody hearing this podcast, I know because I would like to see you perform today, honestly, just from talking to you, right? So I know that somebody listening to it, you get that feeling back. Like you get the feeling like, I need to go check this out, or just how you talk about music, how you speak of performing from a performance standpoint versus when you were a novice, the stories you telling. I think all that it restores that feeling of like outside of whatever we may know, sports, all this other stuff, it's arts. Outside of just knowing arts, it's deeper meaning to what the art we see.
It is.
We see final product a lot of time. We don't get to see the ins and outs of I had to learn this. I got kicked off the stage for a second, I'm just starting out. But look, I'm back. I'm doing this. I perform with her. We talk. All that stuff to me is like it matters, and it speaks to your character. It speaks to your growth and where you are now as an artist, as a leader, as a person, as a human being.
Yes.
So I definitely appreciate your time. Real quick, you can tell me your socials in a minute if you want to as well. But tell them again what time you're performing, what day you're performing, and what stage you are on.
Yes, so Kristal, Mindingall, and Vibe Theory, we will be performing on the Soul Suite stage this coming Friday at 8 p.m. at the Convention Center, which I believe is just right behind the Global Stage off of Reynolds Street. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody, and thanks for all the support. You can contact me via Kristal.Mindingall on all social media platforms, Kristal.Mindingall, Facebook and Instagram.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely clap it up for you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Definitely was a dope conversation, and wish you the best. I'm going to be there Friday. I don't work Friday. So
you better
Friday
be. We don't talk long enough. You better be there.
Nah, I'm gonna be there. Anybody that I spoke to, I'm going to see their show. Yeah. I gotta make sure if you're on the up and up. So definitely, congratulations to you, and keep moving forward.
Okay. Make sure you come holler at your girl.
That was real good.